we get a quick video package from one Stokely Hathaway, and he's cutting down MJF. And he has a line in there where the biggest crime is
Oh, I
dick
have it.
ring.
Oh, hold
Yeah,
on. It's right here.
The worst crime you can commit is dick riding without a license.
right.
I mean, hey, what's a worse crime?
I can't think of it.
I mean, we can ask Chris Jericho's wife, but you know.
So my conspiracy theory though is MJF cuts that promo, but then Stokely Hathaway has to say something back to MJF. Are we still getting the Firm and MJF was all in it together? Because one other thing I'll point out, MJF mentioned, oh, I'm not there because the beating that the Firm gave me, I can't travel. I can come to your podcast, but I can't travel to whatever city AEW's in this week, right? So I know, again, we have one more week of storytelling. The go home show is next week. And we'll get to predictions. So you don't feel like this is, gun to your head and this is what you have to stay to. But do you think we see the double down on the heel MJF, or we get the full babyface turn from MJF?
I hope we get the double down on the heel because he's the best to ever do it. I mean, we can argue about best to ever do it, but he's the best right now doing that without question in my mind. I don't know who you're going to argue otherwise. And I mean, yes, we all love him for that, but I don't know that we're ready to cheer for him. Remember how many times you've heard Steve Austin in the podcast era mention the fans were not ready to boo me at that moment, right? When I turned, and that was the mistake. I don't know if the fans are really ready to cheer MJF. We'll cheer the asshole because we're like, yeah, fuck that. Like, we want to be an asshole, but like, if he's going to be a face, man, the only way it works is if he remains that level of an asshole. And that kind of, he always found a way to make it where you couldn't even be like, yeah, right? You'd be like, dude, don't say that. What? Can't say that. So, yeah, I haven't seen anybody be so effective at being a heel since like Bully Ray, maybe, right? Like where just they can say anything in that ring and get the crowd turned back to booing the shit out. So I hope we get the heel. But hell, man, who knows? I don't know.
I would say if they're going to go babyface, he needs to find something very much like the Acclaimed found scissoring, where the Acclaimed was another act where cheap, local, hometown heat, but then will also be topical and cut down whatever famous person fell on their face or, whatever election stuff. But as you saw with their rap earlier in the night, they still did that. But now, because they're in Boston, they're talking shit on Tom Brady, right? Because Tom Brady left the New England Patriots. So fuck that guy. So it's still cutting down someone, but now I'm cutting down the people that this crowd fucking hates. So isn't that great? I just don't know with how MJF has always done his heel work and how he's cut down. The one that I always think of is Cincinnati, when Brian Pillman Jr. and the city of Cincinnati got eviscerated on AEW Dynamite. I just don't know how he could do that and be that entertaining, but then cheer me. So
yeah,
it's going to be difficult.
I agree with you, Tom. I'm honestly touched in the chat here on the YouTube. We've got, let me read this here, see what you think of it. Girls18.online says, my hot photo here. Wow. I can't.
I mean,
nobody's ever said anything. Nobody's ever said anything so nice to me.
Well, it's just the words of a genius.
It's the words of a genius. So you too can get in the chat of our live stream that is apparently choppy for some reason that I can't figure out. So remember to watch this back later. But you can still use hashtag tweet the table and chat with us that way, right? There's all many ways we want you to be our wrestling friend. Even, well, maybe not Girls 18 online. Maybe not them. But anyway, MJF can't be our friend, right? Isn't that where we were kind of basically?
I kind of feel like so. So, but what do you think the Stokely Hathaway, hey, MJF, why you dick riding with Jon Moxley? Where does that play in?
So, okay, can I touch on that?
Sure.
This is why AEW is better than WWE. Because as you're watching the show, or maybe, kind of half watching the show or doing whatever, I can guarantee you're not going to hear somebody come out of nowhere be like, well, he's dick riding this guy. Like, everybody knows you can't dick ride. God damn it. It's just that kind of realness, but also just that sort of like how you can push the envelope in 2022, right?
Yeah.
That one just made me instantly I'm more tied to Stokely Hathaway now, right? It was endearing.
The worst crime you can commit is dick riding without a license.
Where do you get a license? You don't know?
I don't dick ride.
Yeah,
I don't dick ride. So
shit, I've been doing it without a license all these years. All right. Anyway.
So yeah, I just don't know where the firm plays into this,